What's going on, everyone? Today is Wednesday, February 7th. It is your midweek review. My name is Carson.
My name is Henry.
And we're going to give you a little recap on what has happened this week in the markets and where we see the week actually unfolding going forward. A couple things to note before we get into the charts. I'll go over DXY. Henry will go over ES and NASDAQ. Tomorrow, you do have 8:30 a.m. unemployment claims, followed by FOMC members speaking. Actually, just one is speaking. One's at 8:30 and one's at 12, so at noon. And then at 1 o'clock, you also have a 30-year bond auction, and there is no other news for the rest of the week. So tomorrow you do have a little bit of news going on in the AM session and just a tad bit in the PM session. Other than that, that's about it. We can go ahead and get into the charts. All right, dollar. So hopefully if you're in the Discord, you've been able to keep up with myself and Henry. We've been posting some stuff in our rooms, keeping you up to date. But to give you a touch up, basically on a weekly on dollar, you can tell if you've been following us, we've pulled away from this SIBI now, right? Up into this weekly SIBI. So we used this first initial SIBI as inversion. We've now pulled up into it. You can see how we used the consequent encroachment of it, tapped it very nicely. And now the only other thing that I'm monitoring on the weekly is to see how we react in and around this previous week's high, right? That's really the only thing that I want to note going forward. Although this is showing somewhat of a sensitive reaction on the SIBI, it's something that I think is not necessarily, I'm not going to sit here and call top quite yet. I don't think that, we've formed a top quite yet, because when you go into a daily, we've now established a range, right? So here's this weekly SIBI. Here's this previous week's high. And a couple things to note here. So we have a dealing range from this low to this high, and you can see the equilibrium drawn out, right? So a couple things that I'm noting really to see how we play once we deliver into a discount, right? So if we deliver into a discount, we'll deliver into this previous week's high. And we also have a BISI right here that's not technically considered into a discount yet, but curious to see if we don't necessarily want to get into a discount, we'll respect this and go higher. But aside from that, I'm going to use this down closure, and I'm going to start to note the high, the open, and even the consequent encroachment of this wick. But more so looking to see what the monthly open does. If we want to get down into there, do we want to use it as support, right? So if you're looking at the power of 3, you can see that we've kind of consolidated. You can see that we've thrown a wick down on the monthly, right? We opened, we went lower, and now we've traded back above that. So I'm curious to see if we get back into that. How do we use it as support to potentially go higher and fill the rest of the weekly SIBI? But then also you can see how much inefficient area is up here on the daily as well, right? So you have a whole lot more inefficient price here. So I'm still expecting price to go higher. I'm not necessarily thinking that this is a top. If we do start to show displacement through this, and more importantly, if we create SIBIs through the monthly open, then I'll start to consider price potentially going lower and attacking these lows into this liquidity void. But that is not on my agenda right now. I'm currently still expecting price to deliver higher. It's just a matter of, do we want to use this little BISI in here? Do we want to go a little bit lower into the previous weekly high in the equilibrium? And or if we want to get a little bit more overstretched, do we start to revisit the monthly open? Other than that, that's about it for dollar on me. All you, Henry.
Okay, and we'll get into the indices. Quick recap on things here. We've been doing the pre-market morning chart and chat calls every day at 8:45 inside the Discord. So if you're with us in the Discord, you've heard this a few times this week, but now you can see that our targets have been playing out. So starting here on the monthly chart, I'll just focus in on ES first. You can see that we've been trading higher, creating new inefficiencies on the way up, showing that bullish order flow as we continue to trade and expand higher. And now, since we have bullish order flow, all we're looking for is inefficiency and liquidity above the market. And so we don't have any inefficiency left over here, but we do have liquidity being above January's high from back in 2022. So the expectation is just that ES will continue trading higher to reach above this high, right? 50.28 1/4. Dropping down into a weekly chart now. You can see last week, price dropped down into the weekly BISI right here, which we expected to see new expansion out of and reach up into the buy side. So we dropped down in there, reached through the weekly high and expanded higher. And then this week, we dropped down early in the week into a daily volume imbalance, which we'll look at in a second, and then have expanded again once through the previous week's high And then we just have that buy side target above that's yet to reach to. So as we continue into the later part of the week, still expecting for price to trade higher up into the buy side to and through this level 50.2825. Drop to the daily now. You can see here we have this downswing here from the dealing range, using that as a fulcrum point. So imagine this as a swinging door. Oops, swinging this whole price swing down around, and you get one standard deviation right there. You reached through that right there. And now when we move above the buy side up here, the expectation would be that price continues up toward these areas. So we have 50, 50 and 3/4. And if we extend beyond that, we can reach up toward 51, 20 and a half. Okay. On the daily chart here, you can see how on Friday's close, we were left with a volume imbalance right here. Monday dropped into it right about the midpoint, the consequent encroachment right there, and then formed that Monday lower week. Tuesday and Wednesday have been expanding, and we talked about this morning on the pre-market call how we were expecting Wednesday's price action to reach up into the buy side, exactly as we saw today. Very nice price action there. Dropping down to a 4-hour chart from here, you can see how we did this morning work inside this very small 4-hour BISI right here. See how the candle bodies are respecting that, and then trading higher off of that, expanding up into the buy side. And now we've been left today with new inefficiencies, showing that the bullish order flow has continued. And so we can utilize these inefficiencies created in here to return into a discount and then reach up into the buy side up here. Okay, so if you drop into your lower time frames, like your 1 hour, or let's go to a 15-minute here, you can look within the price range from this morning, at 9:45, and take your fib up to the high like that, find your discount. So we could see price drop back into this inefficiency, into a discount, and then continue higher. Okay. That covers it on ES. Going to NASDAQ, pretty much the same idea here. NASDAQ is already trading at all-time highs, but you can see we've continued the bullish order flow on the monthly chart. On the weekly, same idea here, working inside that weekly BISI right there, trading right down to the consequent encroachment, the midpoint, and then trading higher up into the previous week's high, which we reached today. From here to a daily chart, you can see we don't have any buy-side targets to reach for anymore at this point, apart from Wednesday, today's high, being right there at 17,875.5. But we do have standard deviation targets that we can reach for. So again, using this like a swinging door, swinging it around to one standard deviation. And if we do see price continue to expand higher, you can look for this level next, 17,996.25. Okay. Same idea here as we drop into the 4-hour chart. You have the inefficiency below right here, showing that bullish order flow continuing, and we can see price drop into the inefficiency, work off of this previous weekly high right there, and then continue to expand higher up through this high. Okay. That pretty much covers it. Carson, any last thoughts here?
Nope, I'm all good. If you guys were in the Discord, you guys should have seen all this play out day by day. Other than that, the only other thing I have is if you're not in the Discord yet, get in there. We're having a whole lot of fun helping you guys out, going each day and kind of getting you guys an insight in our minds day to day on what we see and what we feel as if is going to play out in the markets. And that's really all I have. I've been enjoying these past 2 weeks so far. Other than that, that's it.
Yeah, me too. We've been having a lot of fun with live streams. If you're looking to check it out, the links will be in the description of this video to join us on Discord. So do check it out, and we'll see you in there. And if not, then we will see you on Sunday for our normal weekly call.
Trade safe.
Take care.
Peace.